everybody. I'm here with Sarah Chamberlain, and she is last but certainly not least to introduce you as a group moderator. And I've known Sarah for a while now. I've had the pleasure of working with you through Mothers of Preschoolers. Sarah was big into MOPS, and now she does a lot more with fitness, but I'm going to let her tell you all about that. So Sarah, welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Good.
Good.
Tell us all about yourself, what you do, who your family is.
Well, I'm Sarah. I am married to Jason. We've been married for 10 years and together for 15. And we have an 8-year-old boy and a 3.5-year-old boy. And I, as you said, have been involved with leadership and with the Mothers of Preschoolers and as a member for, I think this is my 7th year. I always have to look back at the calendar and figure it out, but I think this is my 7.5 year or something like that. But and I also, for about that same amount of time, have been involved with Fit for Mom fitness classes, and my classes under the Fit for Mom umbrella are specific to stroller-based classes. So I teach stroller bar and stroller strides, but I also teach yoga and Pilates as well.
The scariest ones, Sarah.
No, not at all. You're the CrossFitter. That's what's scary.
Yeah, and I'll lift weights all day long. You make me stretch and touch something at the same time, and I want to cry. The scariest ones. That's funny. Yeah, so we've worked together on a number of different projects or just, topics for your group. So thank you so much for saying yes when I reached out to you. And you guys, I'm not going to lie, it took her a little bit to decide whether or not she wanted to hook up with a Yahoo like me, but eventually said yes, and I was blessed by it, so I'm thankful.
No, I was so flattered to be asked. It was more of a matter of, because naturally I'm not involved with MOPS leadership anymore, although I'm still a member, but if I'm not the leader there, I have to be the classroom mom. And I just have my fingers in so many things and because I love doing stuff with my kids, and I love helping moms. And so that's been a real big passion, and I've just plugged in. So I wanted to make sure I had the right amount of time, that I had good, I didn't want to do it halfway. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And along with that, though, you had a number of really important realizations that I'd love just to talk about a little bit as we encourage this group. And just because we're moderating group, that doesn't mean that we're the only ones posting in the group. Like, we hope you post freely and frequently. All it means is that there are 3 extra sets of eyes besides my own to make sure that nobody's comment or question is missed. We want everybody to know that we care and we're supporting you and encouraging you. So the more the merrier, I say, when it comes to those things. But when I had originally reached out to you, one of the things that really stuck with me is you said, I looked back through all my social media feeds and it was all about being a mom. And it was really hard for me to even find anything that encouraged me in my walk as just a woman and a wife. And so could you kind of speak to that a little bit? Because that really stuck with me.
Yeah, I am most of my social media time is on Facebook, and Facebook certainly has grown, evolved into the groups, and Instagram is, I'm occasionally over there, but not as often. And so there's various groups, and so many of them are moms groups, and I'm in some national moms groups, and I'm in some local moms groups for all of Wilmington, and even smaller moms groups for just MOPS moms, or and so we all, I think it's really easy to talk about being a mom and parenting, and trying to help each other out on potty training and sleep training and food aversions, and even just supporting each other. We're trying, I see you, Mom, crying on the floor in the bathroom, or hiding in the closet eating snacks, eating your hidden chocolate. Like, I see you, and it's okay, and I'm doing it too. And I think we're easy, it's easy, and those things, because all of my groups are moms groups, it was easy, that's filling up my news feed. And I think it's harder for us to say, hey, my relationship is in trouble, or my relationship is, we're having a hard time communicating, or wish my husband was more involved with the kids, or whatever, whatever it is, I think. So I've been trying to seek out groups to fill my feed that are more focused on my mental health and my relationship with my husband, so that we can improve from where we are in our marriage. I think, like I said, we have smaller children, and it can very much feel like in the weeds, and you just, you focus on those little people in front of you, and maybe your husband gets the last bit of you, and that's and then there's a lot of pressure on him. We own a small business, but I think most husbands, they have that pressure to be the breadwinner and to be the provider, and so that's their own kind of stress. And so, I just wanted to start intentionally putting information in front of me that is going to help me grow.
Yeah.
And that's your question.
Yeah, it is, because I think what stood out is just the fact that you were proactive. And so I've had a lot of thoughts kind of branch off from that this week. And the main one being that social media, I think a lot of us treat it as though it's something that's happening to us. You can't escape. Yeah. It's happening to us. People are putting stuff on us, but that's not the truth. We don't serve social media. Social media should serve us. And so when you were talking about that, I think you had said something about hiding specific apps in certain places so that you would see some before others. Well, I ended up going and spending 2 hours, Sarah, 2 hours. And I went and pinned all of the businesses that I love, like especially friends' businesses. So I would save all those links and I'd put them in like gift folders or wherever so that I could go back to them. And I did like a mass unfollowing of so much stuff. And so my feed, I see my friends again and I see my family, which is lovely. Great. Show me pictures of your kid playing in the dirt. Like that's what I want to see, because I want to, encourage those people and their families. And that's not to say business is bad. It's not to say that the advertisements are still going to pop up. There's really not a whole lot we can do about that. But we really do have a lot more control over how our day goes versus kind of, being reactive.
And I even took the apps that I didn't need to have on my front page of, I have an iPhone. So I think Android works the same way, where you swipe over to, you can swipe a few pages where all your apps are. And I put the ones the ones that can suck my time uselessly, I put them not in front of my face. And then the ones that I was I want to be really intentional on going to this app and using it on purpose to, work on whatever this topic. And so I put it right there, above my phone icon and right there above my Facebook icon, because I'm still addicted to Facebook.
But I took it so many times.
Yes. So I moved them around so where I could see them and make the decision, even if it is the one right above Facebook, I can make the decision okay, I'm going to use my time here instead of, it's a constant reminder.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm making Sarah talk about this, or asking her to kind of speak into it, because we're going to challenge you to do the same thing in this group, that the things that are the most important to you, cling on to those things, because we have plenty of negative. We have lots of voices shouting at us right now. It's politics season. We're being constantly advertised to and bombarded at, but the fact of the matter is, it's easy to choose the lighter things, the consuming things, and just scroll through the feeds. It's easy to choose that. It's easier to focus on the mom things because our kids are so needy. So you look up these quick answers and it makes us feel like we're doing something. But I think back to all those times, especially when my kids were younger, and if Pete and I had been more unified and understanding of one another, the experience we were actually having and feeling so lonely and isolated. Because I'll tell you what, becoming a parent, you just feel like you're thrown in the deep end and that's it. There's no life raft. There's nothing.
No instruction manual.
No, there's no instruction manual. And it is super easy to focus on that parenting when we could have just reached out to each other and commiserated or encouraged or supported or had a kind word, touched, that comfort. We forget to comfort one another when we're so busy like that. So all that to say, let's take control of what we are consuming, and especially in this Facebook group, let's make sure that we're seeing the healthy stuff first. And then if there's time later to scroll and consume and do all those things, fine, that's great. But what matters to us? That's kind of a big deal question.
Yeah, I think what you just touched on leaning on our husbands instead of on the other moms, that it just gives them such it can open us. I think it could certainly open my husband's eyes on what my day-to-day is. I don't think he really always knows, so letting him know by leaning on him. Sometimes I'm afraid to put too much pressure on him, but he's there for me, and I'm there for him. I want him to dish about his day. So,
yeah. And sometimes I feel like it's just a matter of wording too. So we had some decisions to make for our oldest today. And of course I call my husband, he's working. He's like, I'm really busy. Can we talk about this later? He said, I feel I'm made so many decisions already today. People have covered him with questions all day. I said, okay, I'm not asking you to make the decision. I'm capable and I love you and I'll do it. I'll step up and do that. What I really would just like is your opinion. Can you spitball this with me? And he was like, oh, yeah, let's do that. And the question kind of came off. But, this group is about figuring out how to do those little things that just show that you're there. Maybe the problem isn't solved right away, but we all have such different, unique experiences and perspectives that if we can just shift that a little bit, sometimes it frees us up. And, those feelings do come back from like when we first met. It feels new. It feels fresh. It feels like you can kind of enter into the relationship again a little more unburdened, and you actually look forward to seeing the person instead of the daily grind where the resentments start to build up, excuse me. And it's hard not to see somebody as an enemy when life gets like that,
Right. If you're a team,
your marriage though, Sarah, right? Like mine, we have perfect marriages.
Do you see me laughing? No, we do struggle, and I have actually some really kind of neighbor mentor parents that live nearby who have older kids, and they say, hang in there, you'll like your spouse again. It gets easier when the kids get a little bit older, and and Jason and I are actively taking steps to work towards improvement, because we've had some hard times, and some of it, with our own, we brought it on ourselves, and some of it just the world handed us bad plate, and it caused a lot of stress. So
well, that's awesome. I mean, we'd be liars, honestly, if somebody walked up to me and said, we have the perfect marriage, I'm going to tell you how to do it. I'd be like, get out of here, you're such a liar. I don't believe you. And if you watch back, I know you haven't even had a chance, you've been so busy this morning, but Allison and Lisa said the same thing. None of us are perfect, but we all have a set of experiences that we can just say, hey, this is what worked for us, may not work for you. We're all different, but why not give it a try? And while you try, I'm going to walk with you. I'm going to support you. I'm going to pray for you, send you a quote, check in with you. And that's really the goal. It's not to have all the answers. And certainly we won't be spitting information at everybody all the time, but I just really appreciate that you're present. You've been there, and you do care about people, especially in the beginning of their walk with the young kids. You've been in it.
Yes.
So
yes. And I'm super excited to be here. I'm hoping, we can share advice, and that I can get advice, and just people's perspectives on all of the ways we can improve each other, and that we can help each other improve.
Thank you very, very, very much. You guys,
thank you.
Sarah will be posting off and on, and I'm sure replying to your comments. So I hope we all get to know each other even better. And I'm glad that I got to introduce you to everybody today. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.